Sweeney, the only one that matters, standing aboard third base. A leadoff triple to begin the inning for Carter Groen. Pitch misses away, will get past the catcher. Run coming home, and Nathan Brewer will score from third. Punched out to third base, and misplaying it is Dylan Cann. They'll send the runner home. In safely is Braden Purser-Eber. The 1-1 pitch. Hit hard left side, and
that's
that'll
gonna do it.
The Senators walk it off in Waldorf. Nate
Nathan
McHugh, the hero.
You're watching Senators Baseball.
Live from Waldorf, glad to have you with us, Cody Wagner, alongside Landon Zernhelt, for a matchup between your Southern Maryland Senators and the visiting Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts come into this game with a 6-12 record, last in the North, and officially the Senators are last in the South Division at 7-11. Metro South County did not play last night, as a leadoff single has Quincy Villa reaching base. An immediate base runner for Silver Spring. Matthew Walters will come to the dish for the first time today. The right-hander on the mound this afternoon for the Senators is Jacob Whiteman, sophomore from Towson University. His first appearance was a 2-inning start in the first meeting against the T-Bolts, where he didn't allow a run on 1 hit and struck out 4 batters. Runner goes, pitches a strike, throw down to second, will not be in time. Villa swipes a bag. And for him, that's the 15th stolen base of the season. One of the most dangerous base runners in the entire Cal Ripken League. He struck him out on 3 pitches. Great work from Whiteman to immediately get back after the single.
Now batting, third baseman, Bryce Curry.
Bryce Curry, the 3-hole hitter. Out of Frederick Community College, the junior there, stands 6'3". Tried to hold back his swing, was unable to do so. For the Thunderbolts this season, he's batted .212, has walked 9 times. Whiteman checks on the runner. VA able to dive back safely. Curry played last night against the Big Train. In that game, he was 2 for 4 with a double, drove in 3 runs, and it was really a heartbreaker for this Thunderbolts squad, who lost 9-10 against Bethesda. Both of these teams have just had tough results recently. For the Senators yesterday, it was the 6-0 loss at the hand of the Alexandria Aces, who played such a good ball game. Zach Kwasny threw 6 scoreless innings in the start for Alexandria. Flared out to shallow right, and that'll get down in front of Rohan Putz. They'll hold the runner at third. Men on the corner for the Thunderbolts.
Puts the Senators in a tough spot.
Jonathan McMath up to the plate, getting his first chance to hit off of the right-hander Whiteman. McMath from Brooksville, Florida, attends Marymount University. has both the ability to pitch and hit, does McMath. Pitched in the game last time against the Senators. Last time he was in the lineup was the 4-2 loss a couple nights ago against the Alexandria Aces. Was 0 for 4 in that game, but made contact in all 4 plate appearances. Snap throw back to first, and they got him. Curry caught a little too far off the bag. 2 down in the first. A huge second out for Whiteman. The 0-2 pitch, foul tipped into the catcher's glove. And Whiteman able to get out of trouble in the top of the first. Senators bats coming up in a moment. We'll be back with you from Waldorf. Glad to have you with us on a warm Sunday from Waldorf. Landon temperature sitting right around 95.
Yeah, it's a
Similar to
bit warm out here
yesterday,
today.
very warm.
Make sure
and-
we stay hydrated up here.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to think it's the heat's having some sort of impact on the players. It's certainly tough to play through this type of heat.
Yes, most definitely. I'm sure they probably have mustard, pickle juice, stuff in the dugouts to help out with cramps.
No, the last 2 days they brought in the cold towels to try to keep these players as cool as possible. Try to stop overheating. The starter for the Thunderbolts is Rohan Mishra. He's out of Vassar College, the sophomore there. 6 foot tall left-hander. Has pitched in 4 games, making his first start of this season for Tacoma. Longest appearance on the year was 3 1/3. And the ball will hop over the glove of Kim at second. And Logan Tribble will reach with the first base hit of the day.
Both
the leadoff
teams-
batter reaches for the Senators.
Both teams leading off with a single.
Well done by Tribble. And this is something that really has needed to improve for the Senators, and it's the hitting. That's what they've struggled with recently. Were unable to score yesterday. Back on Monday in the loss to the Bethesda Big Train, it was also 6-0, unable to score in that one. Allen gets into one deep to right center field, and that'll get over the head of Walters. Tribble
And they're
around third, heading for home. He's going to score. They'll hold Allen at third. with a triple. An RBI three-bagger for Allen puts the Senators up by 1 early. They're the first ones to strike in Waldorf.
And
And
exactly
isn't
the
that a
guy you
confidence
want.
booster?
Exactly the guy you want at the plate after a big confidence, a momentum switch like that.
I mean, as I was saying, a team that has struggled offensively, not doing so right now. Comebacker hits off the pitcher, run will score, and guys safe at first. A picture-perfect start to the ball game thus far. Three batters up, 3 hits, and 2 runs. Fast and furious is the offense from Regency Furniture Stadium, which brings up Kai Queen, the third baseman for Southern Maryland. Batting .294 on the season is Queen. Was a late replacement for P.J. Hughes yesterday and popped out in his only at-bat. High chopper to third. Curry coming on, makes the throw across the diamond. 1 down.
Advances guy to second.
Now batting center fielder, number 8, Silas Morris.
And even the first out is a productive one at that for the Senators. Guy moves up 90 feet. Silas Boris to the plate, a utility option, has played both center field and shortstop. Very skilled defensively. Him and Ty Smolinski, for the most part, have platoon duties at short, but this afternoon, Scott Middleton has decided to switch things up a little bit and gone with Mike Sweeney. You see Scott Middleton do this pretty often. Just gives guys a different look, allows them to be flexible when they have that ability.
Yes, it makes the scouting for the teams they're going against hard because they never know who's going to be stepped in at what position coming into the game, and everybody plays their position differently, so it's hard to prepare for somebody when you could have 3-4 different guys stepping in that role.
Exactly, Landon, and a bunch of changes in the lineup this afternoon for the Senators. They're really holding Guy close out at second base. A ton of guys that weren't in the lineup yesterday are in this afternoon for Southern Maryland. Hit hard on the ground left side, and that'll get past the third baseman Curry. They'll send Guy home. He'll score. Boris, rounding second, heads towards third. He slides in safely. Another triple for the Senators. They extend the lead to 3.
And there's not much more you could ask for right now if you're Coach Scott Middleton. Everything is just clicking into place as he wants it.
And you know the loss was tough for him yesterday. Tried to rally the troops headed into the 7th inning. Had a team meeting with them out on the field. They were unable to mount a comeback, but they've been great to start this one. A sac fly from Sweeney, scores another. 4-0. Southern Maryland can't be stopped at the moment.
As the Senators are just cruising through their batting lineup right now.
4-0. Senators lead it. Braden Purser-Eber up for his first at-bat. And based on how it's going so far, it may be a short day on the mound for Rohan Mishra if he can't get things turned around quickly. The 1-0 pitch. High bouncer left side. That'll get over the head of Curry and go into the outfield for a base hit. His second of the year. Purser Eber, a guy that has struggled at the plate. A big knock for him right there.
Now batting, second baseman, number 1,
PJ Hughes, the 8-hole hitter, gets a chance to hit in the first inning. Was twice a strikeout victim yesterday before being taken out in the 8th for Kai Queen. And these Senators players seem to be seeing the pitches out of the hand of Mishra so well. And you got to take into account 8 of the 9 hitters in the order today for Scott Middleton are right-handers against the left-handed arm. A shot deep to left field at the warning track. Ruiz will bring it in for the 3rd out of the inning. But not before the Southern Maryland Senators crack the scoreboard to the tune of 4 runs off a pair of triples and a big sac fly from Mike Sweeney. 4-0, Senators lead from Waldorf. We'll be back in a moment. Energy is high in Waldorf as the Senators lead it 4-0 from Regency Furniture Stadium. A unique lineup this afternoon for Scott Middleton has worked out to this point, Landon.
Yes, we got a couple guys playing spots we've seen them play before, but not with the other guys we've seen them playing with at that spot.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like the base lineup yesterday for Middleton, the guys he's gone to very often. A deep line drive out to left field, and that'll get over the wall. A leadoff homer in the second for Steve Thomas puts the Thunderbolts on the board. Thomas making the start behind the dish this afternoon. Gets into one for a homer. And that's a big step to try to turn things around for the Thunderbolts.
Yes, the Senators grabbed so much momentum in that first inning. They need to do whatever they can to change that around, and that's a very good start.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, Landon. A huge first inning for the Senators. And that homer, a big opportunity to try and turn the tide of this game. Action out in the Thunderbolts bullpen. Can't quite tell who it is, shielded by that right field wall. At the plate is Mike Heckman, making the start at short. Stands 5'10", 170. Plays college ball for Shippensburg University. Very warm, but the wind's starting to pick up. High chopper. Queen comes up with it. Throw across the diamond is in time. One down.
What a good throw by Kai Queen. And good catch. Elevated for that one.
Mikey Guy playing at first base this afternoon. Something he's able to do. Most often plays third. But Middleton last year as well used Guy across the diamond at first. Gives Kai Queen the ability to make a start at third. Queen's a very powerful bat in the lineup for the Senators. The 1-1 pitch. Skied into foul territory. Jacob Whiteman dealt with trouble in the first. Was able to get out of it after the two singles. Picked off Bryce Curry at first base and struck out two batters in Matthew Walters and Jonathan McMath. And that's been one of the big things that these Senator starters in particular have been able to do. They've run into trouble, but have been able to quickly get out of it.
Yes, most definitely.
And it's really been the bullpen that has struggled. If you were to look at something on the pitching side recently, the starters have just been phenomenal in recent games. Yesterday it was 3 2/3 from Jacob Seek, who allowed just one run, striking out 4 batters. Strike 3, he got him looking. Jacob Whiteman with the third punch out of the day.
Now batting, number 25, Andrew Powers.
Andrew Powers, the DH today for Tacoma. First pitch is a center cut fastball for strike 1. Powers has just 1 hit on the season in 23 at-bats. Has had a tough time getting on base. 5 walks to this point in the season. The 0-2. On a line out to right center, puts his over to it, and he'll bring it in for out number 3. Tacoma with the leadoff homer from Steve Thomas, but quickly 1-2-3 after that for Jacob Whiteman as the Senators lead 4-1 from Regency Furniture Stadium. First batter to the plate in the bottom of 2 is the 9-hole hitter Rohan Putz. Senators nearly batted through the order in the first inning. It's been a pretty much ideal game for them to this point. The pitcher Whiteman has allowed just the 1 run on a homer in the top half of the inning. Putz bounces it off his foot. Putz batting 150 on the year. 0 for 2 yesterday against Alexandria. The 0-2 gets a piece of it. Putz battling at the plate. In that game yesterday against Alexandria, they came into Waldorf and really just didn't give an inch. Kwanzi was wonderful in that one, and as I mentioned earlier, Senators at 7-11 are last in the division at the moment. But a win today gives them the chance to catapult back over the Metro South County Braves, who will play later this evening. Count runs full to Putz. The payoff pitch. Foul tipped, and strike 3. Mishra with his first K of the night, of the afternoon. Logan Tribble singled to start the game and comes up for his second at-bat of the day. Roller to second. Kim's got it. 2 down.
Now batting number 14, Win Allen.
Allen had the huge triple that started a big inning for Southern Maryland. Drove in Tribble last inning. Allen, a guy that will both pitch and hit for the Senators out of Yavapai College. Originally from Germantown, Maryland. The in-state product hitting .233 this year. Came in as a pinch hitter yesterday for Rowan Putz, striking out in his only trip to the plate, did Allen. Has quickly made you forget about that performance with the triple last inning. These teams have played each other twice to this point in the season. The 3-2 skied out to left field. Ruiz will move back on it and bring it in for out number 3. Senators go down in order. Tacoma trying to make a comeback in Waldorf. 4-1, Senators lead. Jacob Whiteman back on the bump for the Senators has allowed just one run to this point. Left one stranded back in the first. It looked like the Thunderbolts were on their way to scoring early, but Whiteman picked off Curry at first, then struck out Jonathan McMath to bring an end to the inning. To lead off the second, Steve Thomas homered, which put up the only run so far on the day for the Thunderbolts. These teams have played against each other twice to this point in the season. The first meeting was a game where action was halted in the third inning. The Senators were up 4-0, and they resumed the game just over a week later, where the Thunderbolts came storming back, getting the 12-7 victory. And it was really an interesting game, Landon, because early on in that one, before the rain delay and postponement, it was the Senators who were controlling things throughout, and then the Thunderbolts, when they came back and resumed it, were just unstoppable.
Yes, you could say that the Senators would have won it if the game was finished out in the same day, but weather doesn't always work in your favor. It's the game of life, and they got them back in the second game they played with each other. This one's for the tiebreaker, if you would.
And that second game was 6-2 Senators. They controlled it throughout. And you're exactly right. Kind of a decider to see where these teams stand. They'll still play each other a few more times throughout the season. Both of the meetings so far have been at the Thunderbolts. They make their way on the road to Waldorf. And continued brilliance from the starting pitching for the Senators. Popped up in the infield. Guy will call everyone off and make the catch for out number 2.
And this, other than the home run at the beginning of the second, the Senators have been making quick work with every batter who's been up at the plate for Silver Spring today.
And really the story in recent wins for the Senators has been great pitching. Last Thursday against the Aces, Mark Labier threw 5 scoreless, allowing a total of just 3 base runners while striking out 4 batters. You were there with that one, for that one with me, Landon, and it was just a phenomenal start by Labier.
Yes, he was just absolutely dotting. Putting the ball was just going where he wanted it to go.
The 1-1 is in for a called strike. Matthew Walters at the plate, struck out his first time up. And it was really a similar story on Saturday against the T-Bolts. Jacob Seek threw a gem in 5 innings of work, not allowing a single run, and struck out 5 in a great day on the bump. Then, once again on Wednesday night of this past week, the ace, Caden Carlin, tossed 5 2/3, getting the win in the 17-4 victory over the Metro South County Braves. That was a game where the Senators showed how good their lineup can be. Purser Eber lost the ball in the air trying to track it near the Thunderbolts dugout. So we'll keep the count right where it is. Scott Middleton checking on his guy behind the plate. Purser Eber quickly explaining to him. Strike 3 swinging. The second K of the inning for Whiteman retires the side.
Who was having one of those days like we were just talking about, where the pitching is just coming into place for Coach Scott.
3 up, 3 down, 4-1. Southern Maryland in the lead. Mikey Guy back to the plate. Singled and drove in Quinn Allen from third in the first inning. Leads off things in the bottom of 3. Glad to have you with us. Cody Wagner alongside Landon Zernhelt from Waldorf, where Southern Maryland leads by a score of 4-1. Thunderbolts have scored off the home run from Steve Thomas. Mikey Guy has been one of the more special talents on this Senators roster. Back for his second year with the team.
The only returner for the team.
On the hitting side, you're exactly right, Landon. Whiteman, who's pitching this afternoon, is also a returner, but the only hitter for the Senators that is returning indeed is Mikey Guy. Swings and misses at 1 in the dirt for strike 3.
Now batting, third baseman number 28,
And your Waldorf native.
The Waldorf kid, Kai Queen, out of Norfolk State University. Chopper to short. Heckman unable to field it cleanly. It rolls over his glove and will go as an error on Heckman. Kai Queen will reach for his first time this afternoon.
now batting, center fielder number 8,
Silas Boris had a big triple the first time he was up. Drove in Mikey Guy. And it's refreshing to see Boris hitting well to this point in the game, especially considering the below 200 average on the season. Has shown the ability to walk, but has also struck out a number of times. 13 punch outs and 9 bases on balls for Boris. He slaps one foul. Rohan Mishra had the difficulty in the first inning. 4 runs for Southern Maryland, but since has been pretty effective. One, two, three in the second for Mishra. Swung on and missed, strike 3. snap throw back to first won't be in time. Queen able to dive back in. But all of a sudden, there's 2 away. Mike Sweeney had a sacrifice fly to left field, which scored Silas Boris from third. In Southern Maryland, it's really interesting to see the story of the season as it's played out, Landon. Early in the year, it was the pitching that had struggled at times, and now it seems to be the hitting a little bit. And if you were to kind of point at one thing, you'd say overall, it's just the consistency. The hitting's gotten it done at times, the pitching's gotten it done at times, but it's all about trying to put that together day in and day out, which is what the Senators have struggled to do.
Yes, this Senators could look like a very dangerous team if they can get all of the components to fall into place. They could definitely change their season around.
And you saw the danger and the threats they can pose this past week with that 17-4 win over the Braves. Grounder to short, flip on to second, will retire the side. 4-1, Southern Maryland remains in the lead as we head to the 4th inning. Welcome back to Waldorf, where Jacob Whiteman has been absolutely dealing to this point in the game. Bryce Curry up for his second at-bat of the afternoon, playing third base, singled last time he was up, eventually picked off at first base by Jacob Whiteman. And it's really been a luxury for head coach Scott Middleton to have the starting pitching he has in recent games.
Yes, Jacob Whiteman, who is just throwing electrically today, has had multiple strikes, not including strikeouts. So he's just thrown. Most of his pitches have just been over the plate.
Whiteman pumping strikes to begin the afternoon, no doubt. That'll bounce into fair territory. And Purser Eber will field it and flip on to first. Curry thought it was going to roll into foul ground. He didn't even make an attempt really to run down to first base. And quickly one down.
First baseman, number 15,
Jonathan
Jonathan McMath.
McMath struck out back in the first to end the inning. Ropes one foul to begin the at-bat. And and this start from Jacob Whiteman has been reminiscent of what we saw last time these two teams met. Jacob Seek, who didn't allow a run in 5 innings on the mound. The 1-1 pitch. Whiteman has allowed just the 1 run off a homer from Steve Thomas back in the second. Sense hasn't allowed a single runner to reach. And Landon, it's just seemed like to this point in the year, these players have really responded well to Scott Middleton. When he asks a little extra of them, they've seemed to come through.
Yes, I feel like you can definitely see how, from week one, how the team has molded together and started to play more together rather than me ball. Week one was some good baseball still, but you could tell that these guys were new to each other. They haven't really played with each other. But now, when I was down filling the water up, these guys were in the dugout messing around with each other, cracking jokes. You can see they're really starting to come together as a team.
Yeah, it seems like they've just started to warm up to each other and get a lot closer as teammates, and you see that relay itself onto the field. A lot of times you'll see guys walk out of the batter's box and relay something to their teammate, which is something they weren't necessarily doing in those first couple of games.
Even at the end of innings, there's every player who's in the dugout is walking out to give high fives and knuckles to all the players on the field at the moment, which you also didn't see that in the first couple games.
And it's positive to see, despite the losses recently for the Senators, it really seems like these players rather, are building a bond with each other and are getting closer, and you hope to see it translate into the on-field play, which you got to think it will at some point, Landon.
Yes, most definitely, Cody.
McMath reached a moment ago on a walk. The 3-0 to Thomas is down in the dirt, and Purser Eber will go talk to the pitcher, Whiteman. Ryan Castelvage will join him. Two straight walks from Whiteman. We'll have the pitching coach come talk to him, and we'll step aside and be right back with you from Regency Furniture Stadium. Heckman grounded out to Queen at third back in the second inning. Two straight walks from Whiteman. Has a quick chat with Purser Eber, the rest of the infield, and the pitching coach, Ryan Castelvage. They turn it into an official mound visit after it looked like Purser Eber was just going to have a quick talk. Castelvage makes the decision to walk out of the dugout. A line out to P.J. Hughes, who makes the snag.
Really elevated for that one.
An athletic play from Hughes at second retires the second batter of the inning. Ruiz went down looking back in the second. There is action out in the Southern Maryland bullpen. Couple guys getting loose. Appears to be number 35 of the Senators out in the bullpen, Ty Harris, the left-hander, perhaps getting ready to come in soon. Whiteman trying to close out the fourth inning. The 0-2 offering misses well above the zone. And speaking to responding well to this coaching staff, since that mound visit, Whiteman has appeared much improved.
Yes, maybe he was just, I don't even know. Don't know what happened, but maybe that whatever coach said locked him in, because since then he's been dotting.
Yeah, just it seemed to lose focus a little bit in the middle of the order. Walked 2 in a row, but since has locked things down. Straight out to Boris, who barely has to move to retire the side. Whiteman leaves 2 stranded in the top of 4. Temperature is 94, feels like 99. A couple steps down from where it was yesterday, but the Senators are on fire this afternoon. The 4-run first inning has them in the lead 4-1 after the solo shot from Steve Thomas to respond to a big bottom of the first from the Senators. And the Southern Maryland pitching has really been the story to look at this afternoon. 4 innings from Jacob Whiteman. Couple of guys getting ready out in the bullpen, so that may bring an end to the day for Whiteman. And if it does, it was a great one for him. Rohan Mishra remains on the bump for the Thunderbolts. His previous longest outing was against the Gaithersburg Giants back on June 12th. Grounder left side. Jump throw in the hole from Heckman will not be in time.
And Purser Eber, who has struggled all season, is 2 for 2 on the day.
Exactly. This is huge for the confidence for a kid who really has had a tough time at the plate. 2 infield singles today from Purser Eber,
who was also just graduated this past spring. So this is his first look at what collegiate ball is like.
And it's a huge adjustment for some of those guys that coming from the high school level immediately to play summer collegiate ball. It's their first experience. When you come and play baseball at the college level, you've got a few months to get ready before the season. They'll work with you. But summer collegiate baseball, you jump right into things after the high school season, and it's great to see Purser Eber having a good day so far.
Yes, definitely.
PJ Hughes flew out to left field his first time up. Bunted one foul a moment ago. And gets a piece of one into the stands. And since that first inning, Mishra has been much improved, allowing just one base runner last inning, and that was on an error in which Kai Queen reached base. Hughes is just a stud at second base, super skilled defensively. That really the biggest reason he's in the lineup. Has struggled to hit at times. Batting average just below 100. But the glove that he has shown, and you saw that exemplified in the top half of the inning by the jumping catch that he made. Hughes out of the Richmond University has only played second base to this point in the season for Scott Middleton. That really where he specializes at. The 2-2 is down in the dirt. Count is full. Hughes has walked twice this season. Struck out 12 times. The payoff pitch. Waved at a miss. Strike three. The third punch out of the game for Rohan Mishra.
Now batting, right fielder number 3,
Rowan Putz struck out his last time up out of Kansas State. Came in later than a number of these players, with that Kansas State team making it all the way to Super Regionals. They ultimately went down at the hands of the University of Virginia. A great season for Kansas State. The 0-1 misses away. Rowan Putz played summer ball for the Pittsfield Suns in the Futures Collegiate League last year. Batted 188 for them with a near 300 on base percentage. Lines one back up the middle for a base hit. Rowan Putz with his first hit of the day. Logan Tribble had a single in the first, grounded out to second his last time to the dish out of Wofford College. Last played on Friday versus Bethesda, drove in a run with his only hit. Rowan Mishra continues on the bump for the Thunderbolts and has run into a little trouble in the fourth. Tribble originally from Bradenton, Florida, recognized as Florida 2A State Player of the Year in high school, batting .453, which is really quite the accomplishment. And you see that from a number of these high-level college players who are in high school. They're just unbelievable.
They were unbelievable. Most of these guys were unbelievable at multiple sports in high school. A lot of these guys chose to go into baseball at the next level, but a lot of them won awards for multiple other sports like football, basketball, other sports like that in high school as well.
Exactly, Landon. A lot of these guys, just natural athletes, chose to focus on baseball, and that's why you see they're so successful, because they've competed in so many other sports. A lot of these guys just with a naturally competitive attitude. Mishra being urged on by his dugout as Thunderbolts arm walks back to the bench by the bullpen. So seemingly ready to go in the game whenever he's needed. Would expect that the result of this pitch will have a lot to do with whether Mishra stays in the game or not.
Yes.
And we'll have to wait a moment before he delivers home. Takes a step off the mound and resets. Purser Eber at second. Puts off a first. The 3-2. Misses high, and he walked him. Logan Tribble reaches.
And here
comes the coach for the Thunderbolts. It seems like they're going to keep him on for the moment. They'll have a brief chat with Mishra, and we'll step aside and be back with you from Waldorf. Quinn Allen is feeling good this afternoon. Had a deep fly out to left last time up, tripled in the first inning and drove in a run. Comes up in a big spot against Mishra. A moment ago, the left-hander had a visit from the pitching coach, and would seem he's on a short leash at the moment. Arm already good to go in the bullpen for the Thunderbolts. We'll see how much longer they ride the arm of Mishra. The 1-1 pitch, fouled straight back. A ball and 2 strikes to Quinn Allen, who's in the DH spot. And that is most often where you'll see him when he hits for the Senators. Also has the ability to play first base a little bit. That's what he did often early in the year. Foul tipped, strike 3, and a big out for Mishra. The dugout of the Thunderbolts loves it.
Now batting first baseman number 22, Mike.
And this would be massive for Mishra if he's able to get out of this jam himself, reduce the pitches on a new arm for the Thunderbolts.
Yes, definitely. They do not want to reach into that bullpen with the bases loaded if they do not have to.
This is officially the longest appearance of the year for Rohan Mishra. As I mentioned before, his first start on the campaign. Inducing a lot of swings and misses at the moment. Two singles and a walk this inning has put the 2 runners on for the Senators, rather the 3 runners on. Guy foul tips it back in to the glove of Thomas. And interesting to see Scott Middleton not coaching third base at the moment, deciding to sit in the dugout, which most regularly you'll see him out coaching third base, likes to control things there and have a read of what's going on the base pass. The 2-2 is outside, and Guy's plate discipline is just next level. Rarely do you see him go swinging at something that's not in the zone. Has struck out nearly as many times as he's walked on the year. Caught on and missed. Strike 3.
They get out the inning.
Mishra able to get out of a jam. Score will stay right where it is. 4-1 Senators as we head to the 5th inning. A couple defensive changes for the Senators. Owen DeShazo taking over for Silas Boris out in center. Ty Smolinski in at short. Over at first will be Ian Kennedy into the game for Mikey Guy, and perhaps that is exactly why Scott Middleton was on the bench, trying to make those changes and get things ironed out before the top of the 5th inning. Ty Harris, the new pitcher for your Senators, left-hander out of the Woodlands, Texas, attends Brown University. In his freshman season at Brown, he held opponents to a 194 batting average over 9 1/3 innings. For the Senators, he's been one of the more reliable arms out of the bullpen for Scott Middleton. ERA is just 2.70. Has allowed a total of 2 earned across 6 2/3 innings. The 2-2 is bounced foul. Last appearance from Ty Harris was earlier this week on Thursday against the DC Grays. It was a 4-2 loss for the Senators. Harris threw an inning of shutout baseball. Hot shot back up the middle will get off of the bag at second. They'll hold the runner at first base, and Andrew Powers will reach on a leadoff single.
And just a very unlucky bounce there for PJ Hughes at second, where the ball just hit off the base and launched the opposite way he was running.
Matthew Kim has struck out in his only at-bat to this point. Comes up with a runner on. That one of Harris's biggest attributes, his ability to induce the swing and miss. Throws over to first. Back in safely is Powers. 8 strikeouts on the year for Harris. The 0-1. Harris allowing just 5 hits and 4 walks in the campaign. Has appeared pretty sparingly over the last 2 weeks. Pitched on June 13th against the Aces, pitched a week later against the Grays. Comes in this afternoon. Maybe Middleton trying to get him pitching more actively, especially with how good he's been for the Senators.
Yes, that would just the ability to have another reliable arm on deck at any time needed would be nice for Coach Scott.
A wave and a miss at strike 3. He sets down Matthew Kim on strikes. And not even to mention the fact, Landon, that he's a lefty. He's one of the rare lefties on the staff for the Senators.
Yes.
Just a few left-handed pitchers for Southern Maryland. Quinn Allen, Ty Harris amongst them. For both of these teams, really, if you could consider it that, a must-win. For Southern Maryland, they've lost 3 out of their last 4, and for Tacoma at the moment, they are on a 5-game losing streak. Senators dropped down to 7-11 with the loss yesterday, are 5.5 games back of the Alexandria Aces. 3-7 in the last 10 are the Senators. And a win today would really be huge in trying to get back on track to where they were early in the year.
Yes, the way the season started, it was just so close between every team, and it was a toss-up on who it looked like was going to take the division. But as the season progresses, it's just becoming more clear and clear that it's the winner from last year.
The 2-2 is punched foul. Quincy Villa, 1 for 2, singled in the leadoff spot to begin the game in the first. Villa battling at the plate. Thunderbolts 6 games back of the lead in the North. Swing and a miss for strike 3. 2 away in the top of 5.
Fielder number 11, Matthew Walters.
Matthew Walters struck out in his 2 trips to the plate. Lifts one to shallow right, puts coming on, and will be unable to get there. They'll send the runner to third. Throw there
And what a
is
throw.
bullet. My goodness, a throw from Rowan Putz. What a play by the right fielder. Guns down Andrew Powers at third base to retire the side. Senators feeling good, up 4-1 from Regency Furniture Stadium. We'll be back in a moment. Well, the walk-up song of Kai Queen plays over the speakers of Regency Furniture Stadium. Reached on an error last time he was up, grounded out to third in his first time to the plate. Hard hit on the ground to second. Kim's got it. One gone. A quick first out for the new arm of the Thunderbolts. The new pitcher for Tacoma is number 42, Christian Bonilla out of Frostburg State University. Owen DeShazo will get his first chance at the dish this afternoon. Came into the game for Silas Boris to take over duties in center field.
Now batting number 12, Owen Deshazo.
DeShazo has often played center field for Scott Middleton. Played in yesterday's game for the Senators. In that one, DeShazo was 1 for 3 with a single. Ball from the Thunderbolts bullpen comes rolling onto the field. Bonilla, the sophomore at Frostburg State. Cut on and missed. He struck him out. Bonilla quickly sets down 2 to begin the inning. Ty Smolinski also into the game for the Senators. Coming in for Mike Sweeney, who sent home a run on a sac fly back in the first. Smolinski got the start yesterday. Comes off the bench this afternoon. Smolinski was 0 of 3 from the plate yesterday before he was taken out of the game in the 7th inning for Silas Boris. Boris came in as a defensive replacement. Flared out to shallow left, and that'll get over the head of Heckman. In for a base hit, Ty Smolinski. His first base knock in the last 2 days. Up comes Purser Eber, who's 2 for 2 today. What's been a big afternoon for him, especially considering the fact that he had only 1 hit on the year coming into today. And that seems to be something that Purser Eber has adjusted to, been very patient at the plate today.
Yes, usually very eager.
Senators had the bases loaded last inning before Rohan Mishra was able to get out of trouble. And so officially we can close the book on his day. He went 4 innings, allowing a total of 7 hits. The 4 runs as well. Purser Eber's reached on balls 8 times to this point in the year. The 2-1, Purser Eber tried to hold up, but goes around on a nice off-speed pitch from Bonilla. Bonilla's made 5 appearances. Has allowed a total of 21 runs in that time. Correction, 20 runs. Has thrown 13 innings out of the bullpen for the Thunderbolts. Runner goes. Bounced foul. A nice play made by the first base coach for Southern Maryland, who gets a round of applause.
Scott Middleton is still not out on third base.
That's been the case the last 2 innings. Swung on and missed. He struck him out to bring an end to the 5th inning. Senators remain in the lead, 4-1. We'll be back in a moment from Waldorf. Harris remains on the bump for the Senators. Came in last inning where he allowed 2 hits. But it was a beautiful throw from Rohan Putz out in right field that ended the inning. And as I say his name, it's a good time to mention that they've moved Putz out to left field and Carter Groen coming into the game in right. So the new outfield for the Senators from left to right goes Putz, DeShazo, Groen. Bryce Curry back up. Singled in his first at-bat today. Grounded out to Purser Eber last time he was up. The 2-1. On a line out to right center. DeShazo over, slides, and makes the catch. That'll retire the first batter of the inning.
What a catch by DeShazo.
And he's super tall for an outfielder, which really benefits him and allows him to cover a lot of distance. Stands 6'6".
Long strides.
Jonathan McMath back up. Struck out and walked once. The 1-0 is inside for ball 2. Harris has struggled to find the zone this inning, but that's really one of his strongest attributes is he often fills up the zone. Hot shot back up the middle, get through for a base knock. Jonathan McMath reaches on his first hit of the game. There's been no action on the scoreboard since way back in the 2nd inning when this man, Steve Thomas, blasted a solo home run. walked last time up in the fourth. Pitch down in the dirt, gets past Purser Eber. McMath will advance to second on the pass ball. Steve Thomas with a big chance to do some damage. And momentum really stands even at the moment, neither team having done too much recently.
Yes, with the way the last couple innings of this game is played out, you would not look at the scoreboard and know that the Senators have a 3-1 lead, or 4-1 lead, I'm sorry, just because this game has been so evenly matched. Ever since the 4 runs from the Senators in the first and the home run from the Thunderbolts in the second, it's just been a pretty evenly matched up game.
When you look back at it, a huge first inning for Southern Maryland may prove costly to the Thunderbolts as we get later and later in this ball game. Jacob Whiteman had a great start for the Senators through 4 innings, allowed 3 hits, just 1 earned run, set 5 batters down on strikes. Steve Thomas in a hitter-friendly count. At 3-1, it allows Thomas to be more selective with the pitch he receives. Skied out to shallow center. Back on it is Hughes, who will call everyone off and bring it in. 2 away.
Now batting, shortstop number 23, Mike Heckman.
Ty Harris has quickly gotten 2 outs in the top of 6, which brings up Mike Heckman, 0 for 2, but has made solid contact both times up. Runner out at second is McMath. He'll try his best to score on a single. Harris steps off the mound. And of course, with the new disengagement rules and pitch clocks, he has just 1 disengagement remaining in this at-bat. Of course, the new rules in an effort to try to speed up the game, which it largely has done.
They still take about a 2.5 hours, but
Definitely reduced from what was formerly regularly 3 hours, 3.5 hours,
definitely
down to more 2.5 to 3 hours. Maybe has cut half an hour on average off of the game. The 1-2. Swung on and missed down in the dirt. Purser Eber will take his time and throw down to first to retire the side. Just the single from McMath, the only blemish for Ty Harris in the 6th, as the Senators keep the score right where it is. They're up 4-1 in Waldorf. New pitcher for the Thunderbolts is Bobby McDonough, the 6'3" right-hander from the College of William and Mary, originally from Arlington, Virginia. Has a solid 3.24 ERA, but 2 losses to his name. Last time he pitched, had the loss against the Aces. That was this Friday in the 4-2 loss against Alexandria. For the Senators collegiate team, it's really a luxury to have the robust youth program that they do, Landon, able to call upon former youth players to say, hey, you want to give us a couple more years at the collegiate level? And it really helps motivate some of the younger players who see, hey, I can come to a collegiate game, watch guys at the college level. I want to do that in the future. One down the left field line from P.J. Hughes. He's hustling around first. He'll be in with a leadoff double in the 6th inning. A big hit for P.J. Hughes.
For the second time today, the Senators players had a hit down the third base line that just stayed fair in time and rolled back behind the bullpen, behind the left field wall, and it's made it very difficult for the Thunderbolts to make a play on it.
And it's just made me think about how things go your ways some days and don't other days. The last couple of games that the Senators have lost at home against the Big Train and then yesterday against the Aces, there were a couple of times where they hit one hard down the line and it was just foul. And today those go the other way to the tune of a 4-1 lead over the Thunderbolts. Putz has squared to bunt twice. He's 1 for 2 on the day, singled in the 4th. Hughes out at second, and another pitch misses away. And why not square to bunt again? Seems like he may have the mental edge over the pitcher McDonough at the moment. The 3-0. Putz will lay one down up the first baseline, and he'll reach with a bunt single. Putz was burning it down the line and is able to get on. Advances Hughes to third and runners at the corners for the Senators.
That single from Putz puts the Thunderbolts in a very dangerous spot with one on each of the corners and 0 outs.
And this is where you start to become pleased with the change from Tribble to Groen. Tribble was doing well today and is more of a contact guy for the Senators, but Groen with a real chance to blow things open right here, more of the power hitter for Scott Middleton. A walk and a single on the day for Tribble, who comes out, and pitch gets away from Thomas. Runner advances to second, and a 3-1 count to Groen. And now do you consider just walking him and loading the bases to try to face the next batter with a 3-1 count, or do you potentially risk a pitch over the heart of the plate that Groen can do something with?
It's a tough call.
That's what you do. Execute a perfect breaking pitch on the outer edge of the plate. My goodness, what a 3-1 pitch by McDonough, catching the edge, and you can try to throw some of those more risky pitches when you've got a base open. And he tries to paint the corner again, unable to do so. And Groen will reach, which brings up the dangerous hitter Quinn Allen.
And if you look down there warming up, the one and only Ian Kennedy is up next after
And you
Quinn
really got to
Allen.
be pleased with how Scott Middleton has changed and put together the lineup as the game has gone along with some of these shifts. I mean, just a gauntlet of batters you've got to face in this 1, 2, 3, and even 4 spot. Even add in Owen DeShazo. I mean, all of these guys can hit for power. Groen to Allen, who tripled back in the first inning, and up next will be Ian Kennedy, who's got the highest batting average on the team and can really get into one. No outs in the bottom of 6. The Senators have a chance to extend their lead over the Tacoma Thunderbolts. But 2 quick straights from McDonough will force Allen to have to battle. Pitch will get past the catcher. 1 run will score. Both will advance. And P.J. Hughes slides into home. 5-1. Senators in the lead.
As we finally break the silence here at Regency Furniture. First score since the home run at the first pitch at the top of the second.
And exactly right, Landon. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had a run score in this game. That pitch will hit Quinn Allen, and the bases will be loaded once again. Huge for Southern Maryland, which brings Ian Kennedy to the dish. He'll be getting his first plate appearance this afternoon as they'll go out and talk to Bobby McDonough. We'll step aside and be right back with you from Waldorf. 5-1, Southern Maryland. Well, the one and only Ian Kennedy, such a fun guy to be around day to day. Bounces one to first, throw home, will go wide of the catcher. 1 run will score. They're sending Groen home. He'll score from second base. And the Senators all of a sudden are starting to open things up in Waldorf. 7-1 their lead. Kennedy chopped one to first instead of trying to turn 2 and throw to second, or even just taking the 1 out at first. McMath tries to throw home. A throwing error from him scores 2 for the Senators. Kai Queen reached on an error back in the 3rd. Has grounded out twice to this point. And what was a disappointing afternoon yesterday for the Senators. No runs scored. Just 3 batters got a 4th chance at the plate. Has turned into an offensive onslaught today.
Yeah, it seems like everything is just falling in place for the offense of the Senators today. All the bats are just connecting in the right spots.
And they'll drop the ball at second base.
And
Ian Kennedy will
Kennedy
be
is
in
safe.
safely. Can you believe it? What seemed like a routine ground ball, things are starting to spiral out of control for this Tacoma Thunderbolts team. it seemed like a sure thing for Heckman. He tosses onto Kim, just unable to squeeze it.
I thought from right here that it would have been a double play. I thought he was going to make the grab and swing at the first.
8-1 Senators, which brings up Owen DeShazo. 6 batters into the inning, and yet to record an out are the Thunderbolts. And as a Senators fan, this really feels good today.
Yes, this has been needed after the last couple weeks have just not been playing in the Senators' favor. As you mentioned earlier, only 3-7 out of their last 10 games. So just to be able to blow the score open in a game like today has got to be a good feeling for them.
Senators trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, and they seem well on their way to doing so. Pitch bounces in front of the plate for ball 2. Christian Bonilla last inning. Christian Bonilla, apologies, through just 1 inning was fabulous for the Thunderbolts. Got himself into trouble but was able to work out of it. They go to the new arm McDonough, who has really struggled and has allowed the Senators to rebuild the momentum that they had back in the first inning. Swung on and missed, and DeShazo will slam his bat against the ground.
Sounded like maybe a crack in the wood on that. DeShazo
Disappointed
not happy with
with
striking
the
out
result.
as he snapped the rest of the bat walking into the dugout.
Ty Smolinski singled in his first time at the plate last inning. We'll get another chance to hit here. Came into the game for Mike Sweeney as a defensive switch. Sweeney had a sac fly, which drove home Silas Boris from third back in the first inning. And it's interesting to see the switch with Scott Middleton not being the third base coach. The Senators have had pretty good success at the plate. You wonder if it's something where he can give them more confidence in the dugout, get his guys going. You got to think, is this a change they'll make for the rest of the season? Roller back up the middle will get through. Kennedy will come home and score. Queen advances to third. An 8-run lead for Southern Maryland.
Ty Smolinski puts one through the middle and gets the corners loaded with 1 out.
Smolinski goes to 2 for 2 on the day, and Bobby McDonough will be done. A brutal day for him, still responsible for the 2 runners on. Allowed the 5 runs to the Senators, recorded just 1 out. We'll have a pitching change to announce for the Thunderbolts in a moment. 9-1, Southern Maryland. Runners at the corners and a new pitcher on for the Thunderbolts. It's Nick Keene, who's a utility guy, the sophomore from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Pitch in the dirt, Smolinski will reach second base. Braden Purser-Eber back up to the plate. Platoons the catching spot with Nate McHugh. They regularly switch day on, day off between the two. McHugh had started the last 2 days, actually, so you expected that Purser-Eber would get the start as he did this afternoon. Nick Keene, both hits and pitches for Tacoma, has made 4 appearances on the bump this year. Has 1 loss on the record, does Keene. His longest appearance was 3 innings against the Big Train. He strikes out the first batter he faces. Purser-Eber goes down on strikes for the second time today.
As we're back to the top of the rotation from the beginning of the inning.
Hughes led things off with a double. And a 5-run inning has taken place since. PJ Hughes gets another shot as
But
the
it
Senators have batted around the order.
Looks like coach for the Thunderbolts definitely made the right call going to the bullpen, where this guy's has just been firing since he's came in.
You just kind of needed to stop the bleeding where it was. A game that the Thunderbolts, you would likely think in the coach's mind, you don't necessarily expect to win at this point, down 8. Just get out of this inning and keep the damage where it is.
Make it interesting.
Nick Keene definitely with the ability to pitch a long time. Mentioned that appearance against the Big Train. Also threw 3 innings against the Crop Dusters and strike us out the 2 batters he faces. But not before your Southern Maryland Senators go up 9-1 from a big 5-run inning. We'll be back in a moment from Regency Furniture Stadium. Senators bring out Ty Harrison. In comes Alex Angelitis, the right-hander from the University of Hartford, stands 5'9", originally from Frederick, Maryland. Glad to have you with us. Cody Wagner joined alongside Landon Zernhout. It's a warm one in Waldorf. 94 degrees, feels like 99. Yesterday it was 97, felt like 102. So
Yeah,
the
it was
last
not-
2 days have been scorching, to say the least.
I wasn't here yesterday, but still definitely felt that heat.
And this is something that is not going away over the next 2 weeks. If you take a look at the forecast in southern Maryland, it'll be 85 to 95 over the next week and a half. So we'll expect continued heat, and we'll see how this plays a toll on these players. Skied out deep to left field, just in front of the warning track. Putz will make the grab for the first out of the inning.
He's having a very good day himself, making multiple catches in outfield and behind at the dish.
Andrew Powers back up, has a hit and 2 at-bats, and a moment ago the Thunderbolts met out in front of their dugout, something that the Senators did yesterday when they were down big against the Aces. Just try to reset things and try your best to mount a comeback. It's what the Thunderbolts want to do this afternoon. Hit hard out to left field. Putz ranging over. 2 down.
And once again, that name, Rowan Putz, has been very popular up here in the booth with us tonight.
Putz has been very effective this afternoon, and so has the entire Southern Maryland team. The lineup has done exactly what you've been asking for. 9 runs through 7 innings. And Alex Angelides with a quick inning, throw across the diamond, will get past Ian Kennedy, and that's why you don't speak too soon. Smolinski throws one down in the dirt and
he'll
takes a tough bounce that Kennedy is unable to corral. And that's one of those tough plays where runners chugging down the line. Ball's hitting the hole. Smolinski's got to backhand it and come up and make a throw. Unable to make a throw that's spot on, so Kennedy can't handle it, and it rolls into the bleachers, rather into the stands.
That's right. It was good defense by Smolinski. It's short to get his body in front of the ball, get the backhand on it. Just the throw was not where it needed to be for Kennedy to corral it at first.
Quincy Villa has a hit in 3 trips to the plate. You see we are missing a catcher at the moment. Braden Purser-Eber seemed to have troubles with the mask.
His glove.
Oh, the glove rather. So perhaps going to his second glove, or Nate McHugh handed off his own glove to Purser-Eber. Nonetheless, we are back underway from Waldorf. Quincy Villa singled to lead things off, has not reached base since. Struck out his last time up. And the Thunderbolts, it seems like they've had a better inning, no doubt about it. It's just been balls hit right at guys so far.
Yes, they're making contact with the ball. It's just not landing in the spot they want.
Yeah, those 2 flyouts to begin the inning were really well hit balls pulled down the left field line, but Putz was able to make the grab on both of them. Well, it looked like it was going to be a quick inning for Alex Angelitis. He's quickly found trouble. The 3-1 is a strike on the outer half. Ty Harris threw 2 innings for the Senators, allowing 3 hits, no runs. The Thunderbolts have not scored since the home run off the bat of Steve Thomas to lead off the 2nd inning. And Tacoma, they've lost their last 5 ball games, so they really want to get back in the win column. But a beautiful play by Ty Smolinski.
Smolinski makes up for the last guy.
And when you make an error, that's what you want to see. A big play by Ty Smolinski, forgetting about the errant throw a moment ago, slides, makes the stop, pops up, and makes a perfect throw to Ian Kennedy at first as the Senators hold Tacoma scoreless in the top of 7. They've got a chance to do some more damage and add insurance on top of what's already a big 9-1 lead. We'll be back in a moment. The Senators hit around in the bottom of the 6th inning, which allows Rowan Putz to lead things off. He had a single last inning. He's 2 for 3 this afternoon. He's been super helpful with his outfield play. And today he especially needed, after he has struggled at times at the plate so far this year. The 2-0. Putz swings over a 2-strike fastball. 2-0 fastball, rather. Apologies. Hot shot back up the middle. Will get through for another base hit.
As
Make him
Putz
3
stays
for 4.
hot.
Have yourself a day. Rowan Putz 3 singles so far. Just caught a peek at CJ Willis, who seems like he'll be coming on for Quinn Allen to DH in a moment. Runner goes. Pitches in for a strike. Throw down to second will not be in time. Kim was unable to keep it in the mitt. Seems like the throw actually may have been there, but Kim unable to keep the ball in his glove. Nick Keene remains on the bump. Last inning, the Senators really blew things open against Bobby McDonough, who recorded just 1 out but allowed the 5 runs.
The pitch hits Carter Groen, and he's going to take his base. As the Senators have 2 on with 0 outs.
And yet again, it seems like the Senators are building momentum after a big 6th inning. Throw back to second to check on Putz, who dives in. C.J. Willis will get a chance to hit. Comes in for Quinn Allen, who was 1 for 3 with a triple and an RBI. Last inning, Nick Keene came into the game and shut things down, but is having a tough time finding the zone against C.J. Willis. Willis comes to Waldorf via Memphis, where he plays college ball, originally from Bartlett, Tennessee. He'll often play first base for Southern Maryland. Recorded his 2nd hit of the year yesterday, where he singled in a 1 of 3 day from the plate. Willis taking the whole way. The 3-1 is outside for ball 4.
Bases loaded with the one and only Ian Kennedy coming up.
And this has been a perfect day to this point for the Senators. And you saw this earlier this week against the Metro South County Braves. And this is kind of what we spoke about earlier in the day. It's been a great day for the Senators to this point. You just want to see this from them a little more consistently.
Yes.
No doubt that they've played great this afternoon, but you want to see that a couple more times each week, and this could really become a dangerous team to deal with, because you see they got the capability of doing what they've done today. And when you start thinking about the postseason, of course, we're still a long way from then, but a Southern Maryland team that can catch heat at any moment will be super dangerous in that shortened format.
Yes, definitely, because if they catch heat in the postseason, it could just cause a run. Because from what we've seen tonight, that when the Senators get hot, they know how to hit around the order very consistently. It's just a problem of staying consistent in games with it.
I mean, you're seeing exactly the kind of play this team can have, and this is why you get disappointed at times. Lifted out to left field. Putzel tag from third, throw home. Putz is down and safe. He avoids the tag of Thomas. Thomas thought he had laid the tag on the runner, and so does the coach of the Thunderbolts. The head coach immediately going to back up his catcher.
Coach not happy with the call, but it will stand.
Entire Thunderbolts bench talking to the umpire. And Groen dives back safely to second.
Another very close call.
Kai Queen, one of the only guys that has remained in this game the whole way. 0 for 4, but has reached on 2 airs. Glad to be with you, Cody Wagner, Landon Zernhelt from Regency Furniture Stadium. Senators lead by a score of 10-1. Snap throw back to first. They got him. CJ Willis caught too far off the bag. And a big out for the Thunderbolts. At one moment, the bases were loaded. Now just a runner on second after Putz scored from third a moment ago. The 1-2. It's super positive to see this from the Senators, especially heading into 2 off days coming up. Waves at and misses, strike 3. Able to get out of what was some serious trouble as Nick Keene surrenders just the 1 run. Senators extend their lead to 9. Austin Ferrero coming to the game for your Southern Maryland Senators. Comes on in relief of Alex Angelides, as he's done a number of times throughout the season. These two often line up with each other on the days Scott Middleton has them come into the game. Ferreira's made 4 appearances on the year, thrown 5 innings, allowed just 1 earned. has had questionable defense behind him at times, allowing a total of 4 runs. Just 1 earned. Has walked just 2 batters on the season. Is a classic pitch to contact guy, which ultimately lends itself to a number of strikeouts for Ferreira just because he gets ahead early in the count. And if you're down 0-2 looking and you happen to swing and miss over the 3rd pitch, go down on strikes. Ferreira, however, in a full count to the first batter he faces in Matthew Walters. The payoff pitch. He walked him. Exactly what the Thunderbolts are looking for. Brings up Bryce Curry, who's 1 of 3 on the day. And the last 2 times the Senators have played at Regency Furniture Stadium, it's been losses on the record. First against the Bethesda Big Train back on Tuesday, a 6-0 game that the Big Train dominated, and then the loss yesterday, also the same score there, which Alexandria didn't give an inch. And so it's really phenomenal for Senators fans to see Southern Maryland have the ability to play the way they have to this point. Pitches in for a strike, throw down to second, will hit off the runner. Stealing a base is Matthew Walters. And speaking of that 3-game losing streak for the Senators recently, on Friday it was just an absolute heartbreaker, a loss at the hands of the Bethesda Big Train. Matt Hoover had a wonderful start through 6 shutout innings in that one. Despite that, the Senators went on to lose by a score of 5-4 after a 5-run 7th inning for Bethesda. And if you were to question any part of the pitching for the Senators, it would be the bullpen.
Yes,
It's
definitely.
Sorry to cut you off, Landon. It's just so hard to expect guys, 3 or 4 guys out of the bullpen to be consistent and be good on that day. To line up a couple good guys on the same day is just so tough, Landon.
Yes, definitely. As the coach, Scott Middleton, he probably hopes to have his bullpen guys coming out, throwing, having a good day. But it's when your starter comes in and throws 4 or 5 really good innings, it's hard for your bullpen to just come in and match that same type of efficiency.
It's kind of odd to see Southern Maryland sits in sort of an interesting spot. They've shown the ability to beat some of the top teams, such as 2 wins against the Aces. But as we said throughout the broadcast, just haven't shown the ability to quite do it as consistently as you would want. And the bases are loaded all of a sudden with no outs for Southern Maryland. And Austin Ferreira, who has been Mr. Reliable to this point in the season, is forced to work out of trouble in the 8th. Steve Thomas homered in the second. Comes up in a big spot for Silver Spring. And motion out in the bullpen looks like number 30, Brennan Heilman, from what I can see. Popped up right side. Kennedy over in foul territory. Calling him off is Hughes, who can't make the catch. Hughes had to run over a long way. I think he had kind of seen that Kennedy had sort of misplayed it and didn't read it super well. Hughes called him off and had to make a super far run and just couldn't quite corral it.
Luckily for Hughes, the ball was foul, so.
Yeah, it would have been a tough throw to make home to the plate to try to gun down the lead runner for Hughes. Ball landed just foul. The 1-2. Thomas is 1 for 2. And if he was able to repeat the result from back in the second inning, boy, would that be a big momentum booster for the Thunderbolts. But even if he can just reach here, even if it's just on a walk, that's huge for Tacoma, who needs some sort of momentum at the moment, and he does exactly that. 4 walks to begin the inning for Austin Ferreira. Super rare to see from him. A guy, as I mentioned, that often fills up the zone and doesn't really pitch around batters. Goes right at guys regularly, but today is just not seem to be on that same level that we're used to. And you're super thankful that you've got the lead you do if you're Scott Middleton, because it really gives you the opportunity to say, all right, Austin Ferreira, you're not necessarily having the best day. We can get a guy warmed up, and the lead remains 10-2.
Yes, and it's looking like Coach is about to head to the bullpen here any moment.
Heilman seems ready. Has already thrown all of the warm-up pitches he's needed before he'll throw a couple more out on the mound. Ferreira able to fill up the zone with a strike. Mike Heckman 0 for 3. And Ferreira seemed to just not be able to command the fastball to this point.
And here comes the pitch coach.
And you're thinking that that'll be it for Ferreira.
As he walks another one home and bases still loaded with 0 outs.
Ferreira gave up 2 earned, didn't record an out, and walked 5 batters, so he'll hand things off to Brennan Heilman. We'll tell you more about him in a moment. Top of the 8 from Waldorf as the Tacoma Thunderbolts have started to cut down the lead of the Senators, which is just 7 now. Austin Ferreira was the pitcher to start the inning. Didn't get a single out for the Senators. Walked 4 batters, hit 1. And so he hands it off to Brennan Heilman, the right-hander from Cincinnati, Ohio, attends Wofford College. And it seems like the strategy for the Thunderbolts at the moment is just take. And it's worked to the tune of 2 runs to begin the inning.
Looks like exactly what you said. They're just going to take what the Senators will give them.
And Southern Maryland has really got to turn things around quick with the pitching.
Yes, the pitching that started so great this afternoon is just going the other way, where the last 2 pitchers they have brought in from the bullpen have been struggling to find the zone.
And Landon, it seemed like exactly what I was talking about earlier, in the fact that you expect so much to trust 4 guys in a row coming out of the bullpen to say, hey, you got to be on today. It's just such a high expectation where
Yes.
you know they're only going to get 1 or 2 innings of work, and not a big chance to really turn things around if they have 1 bad inning. A rope out to left field. That'll get into the corner. 1 run will score. Another one will come in. They'll hold the runners at second and third, and the lead down to 5 for the Senators. A big 8th inning for Tacoma,
Who are still showing hope. It's not over until it's over.
and the first hit of the inning for the Thunderbolts proves costly. Andrew Powers, the DH, up 1 for 3 in the game. Slaps one into foul territory. Senators have still not gotten an out. And what was a huge 6th inning for the Senators has seen the momentum completely turn on its head towards the Thunderbolts, who are now only down by 5. You thought at one point they were maybe out of this game, but slowly climbing back into things, Landon.
Yes, Cody. That's what, like I mentioned a moment ago, the saying, it's not over till it's over, is just, it's just how it is. They have not let their head down yet, and they've brought this game within 4, where it started this inning a 9-point game.
Senators allow the run to score, but getting out at first, and honestly, Landon, I think they're more than happy to have that happen. Getting outs has just been so difficult for Southern Maryland to this point in the inning. There's more action out in the Senators' bullpen, as Heilman has largely reduced some of the potential for damage. A hard hit ball out to left field, back on it is Putz, who will make the catch, and another run will come in to score. Lead is just 3 for the Senators. And boy, did you see this coming because I certainly didn't. A 6-run inning to this point for Tacoma. And this just shows you how big it is to score the runners you put on. Just 9 guys up in the inning, but 6 of them score for the Thunderbolts. As the lead is 3 for the Senators, headed into the 8th. We'll be back in a moment from Waldorf. Well, a switch up for things on the mound for Tacoma, who puts in the hitter Mike Heckman. Hit so far today for the Thunderbolts. They decide to give him a shot out on the mound, making his first appearance pitching this year for the Thunderbolts.
Senators need a big inning here to bounce back from that top of the 8th where the Thunderbolts took a lot of the momentum from them.
Bottom of the 8th inning. Glad to have you with us, Cody Wagner, alongside Landon Zernhout from Waldorf. Senators once led the game by a score of 10-1 before a big top half of the inning for the T-Bolts. DeShazo fights it off. When DeShazo came into the game for Silas Boris, the defensive replacement struck out in his first at-bat, just making his second trip to the plate now, and he goes down on strikes again.
Now batting, shortstop number 34.
Heckman sets down the first batter he sees. Ty Smolinski has singled twice to this point. Just finished up his time in high school. The Gretna, Nebraska native. Him and Silas Boris regularly split time at short. Today it was actually Mike Sweeney who got the start. Smolinski came in for him back in the 5th inning. The 2-0. And Heckman all of a sudden unable to find the zone. Ty Smolinski set to attend Kansas State in the fall as he draws a walk. And he's reached all 3 times he's been up.
Now batting, catcher, number 27, Braden Tercer-Reber.
Well, Heckman was super efficient in the at-bat against DeShazo, able to strike him out. But then 4 straight balls to Ty Smolinski. Make it 5 in a row. Tercer-Reber has struck out twice and singled twice. Been kind of a tale of 2 halves for Tercer-Reber, who was hot early. Struck out the last 2 times he was up. Flared out to second. Throw on to second. They'll get 1. And the throw to first will be in time. 3 up, 3 down. A big bottom half of the inning for Tacoma.
Now the Senators look to close it out in the top of the 9th.
Thunderbolts with one last chance, down 3 in Waldorf. Can the Senators finish things off and snap a 3-game losing streak? Or do the Thunderbolts have one last run in them? We'll see in a moment from Regency Furniture Stadium. Brennan Heilman and the Senators are just 3 outs away. But can the Thunderbolts mount one last rally to try to come back? They scored 6 runs last inning on just 1 hit. A pair of sac flies and 5 walks is what did the trick for the Thunderbolts. Brings up Matt Walters, who led things off last inning with a walk. Heilman came in for Ferreira in the 8th. Will at the very least begin the 9th. There's an arm up in the bullpen for the Senators. Walters a 1-for-3 day with a single. Has struck out twice. Heilman allowed 1 run to his name last inning. 3 of those were accounted to Ferreira, who allowed 5 earned. The payoff pitch. Walter stays alive. And Landon, it seemed like a game that the Senators were just quickly going to go to the bank and say, thank you very much for the win. They were up 10-1 headed into the 8th, but the Thunderbolts have mounted a huge comeback, are just within 3, and Matt Walters will reach on a walk.
And you just got to thank the walks for this. That we've walked about 6 people, and like 3, 4, 5 of them for runs.
Exactly, Landon. For
Just
some of the exact numbers, 4 walks last inning, a hit by pitch. Just walked Walters, who advances 90 feet on a wild pitch.
And as it seems right now, it's just still very simple mistakes that are costing the Senators in this one.
Patience, the key word from the third base coach for the Thunderbolts. Bryce Curry at the plate. Walked last inning. Swings over strike 1. Curry singled his first time up today, is 1 of 3 at the dish. Hit on a line out to center field. DeShazo ranging over, and he brings it in for out number 1. Throw into the cutoff man will keep Walters right where he is. Heilman able to induce a fly out and a huge first out. Jonathan McMath has reached thrice this afternoon. A single in the 6th, was hit by a pitch in the 8th. Walters leads off of second. Heilman remains on the mound for Southern Maryland. Middleton won't go to the pen unless he has to. Will look to one of his strongest relievers to try to close things out in Brennan Heilman. He's got 1 win on the year. This would be the first save to his name. Ten to 7, Senators lead. Runner at second for the Thunderbolts. The 2-1. McMath gets a piece of it. And he's really been locked in all afternoon at the plate. Struck out his first time. Has not been retired since. Count runs full. And the tension rises in Waldorf. Full count to McMath. The payoff pitch is down in the dirt. And Matthew Walters will advance to third. Runners at the corners.
And here comes the pitch coach.
Ryan Castelvage out of the dugout, points his finger down to the bullpen, and that's where they'll go. We'll have a new pitcher when we come back in a moment. 10 to 7 the score. Senators lead. Runners at the corners for the Thunderbolts as they try to mount a comeback in Regency Furniture Stadium. Dawson Weatherall on to try to close things out for the Senators. Has been a reliable guy recently for Scott Middleton and comes in for about the biggest moment of the season. 10-7 the lead for the Senators. Runners at the corners. Weatherall in to shut things down. Hasn't allowed a run in his last 3 appearances. Before that, he had allowed 6 in his first 3 times on the mound, so has really adjusted to the level in the Cal Ripken League and has found a way to be effective. Yesterday against the Aces, he faced 3 batters, retired them in order. Quickly 3-1 to Steve Thomas. And Middleton will rely upon Weatherall to try to close things out. No action out in the bullpen. Full count to Steve Thomas. He's 1 for 2, has walked twice, and hit a homer back in the second. Pitch misses high, and Weatherall walks the first batter. And Landon, it's really been the walks that have plagued the Senators.
Yes, and it's comes back down to what we've been talking about all game. Just the consistency in this pitching room, and it's got to be hard for your starters when they come in every single game and put on a show and sit down every runner they go against for the first 5-6 innings, keep the other team at 0, and then coach goes to your bullpen, and next thing you know, it's a 3-point game. It's got to be frustrating.
No doubt, Landon. Weatherall finds the zone for strike 1. A nail biter from Regency Furniture Stadium. Bases are loaded. 1 out in the top of 9. Line drive out to left center, puts into DeShazo, chasing it. That'll get down. DeShazo's got it. 1 run will score. Another will come in. They'll send the runner home. 3 will score. We've got a tie ball game. A big double from Mike Heckman ties us up. Tied.
That's why you
10
don't
to
give
10.
up. That's why no matter the score, you don't give up.
And that's exactly what you saw from this Thunderbolts team, even when they were down 10-1. There was no lack of fight, just lack of execution at times, and they have mounted what has been a miraculous comeback. 6 runs in the 8th, 3 now in the 9th. And the leading run stands out at second base. Gabe Ruiz up to the plate is 1 for 4 with a double his last at bat. Seven walks over the last 2 innings, and a hit by pitch has been what has caused trouble for the Senators, as Mike Heckman will advance on a wild pitch down in the dirt.
Leading run is on third base with only 1 out.
And that's the trouble, right, Landon? Just 1 out in the inning. So you've got to bring the infield in, try to cut down Heckman at home, who's getting instruction from the third base coach. Hit hard out to left field. Brings it in, but a run will score. And the Thunderbolts go up by 1. They have not led for the entirety of this ball game, Landon, and now they do.
And that's just, you can't give up on the game. You could be up 10-1, and that it doesn't matter. The game is not over until the game is over, until you get that third out and the umpire calls it. The game is not over. You gotta play with full intensity the entire time.
And that's the thing, the pitching for the Senators just letting off the gas a little bit, it seemed like. And the Thunderbolts have put up 10 runs in the last 2 innings, but the Senators, with a chance to walk it off in the bottom of 9, 11-10, the Thunderbolts lead it by 1. We'll be back in a moment from Waldorf with one last chance for Southern Maryland. A game with all the dramatics in the world. Do we have one last turn in store?
We sure hope so. The Senators with the chance to walk it off in the bottom of the 9th.
And you couldn't write much of a better story for the Thunderbolts at the moment, who have been able to come back and make it 11-10.
As it seems like the pitcher's overheating a little bit.
They immediately send a man down to the bullpen. They were trying to keep Mike Heckman out on the mound, but the heat getting to him a little bit. Temperature right at 95, and they've had to endure it for 9 innings. Game has reached the 3-hour mark as they bring water out to the man on the mound. And he'll be good to go. Heckman last inning struck out DeShazo, then walked Smolinski, but Parser-Eber grounded into a double play. And the first batter he faces He hits him. PJ Hughes reaches on a hit by pitch. And you'll take runners however you can get them. Sure, that doesn't
Definitely.
feel good for Hughes, but definitely feels good to have a runner on in Waldorf.
Knowing your tying run is now on first base with 0 outs has to feel good as the coach.
And Rowan Putz, who's been hot today, 3 for 4 with 3 base hits. PJ Hughes will get some water out of the Tacoma Thunderbolts dugout. These teams just trying to help each other battle through this heat.
Yeah, it's a very hot one here in Waldorf today. Players starting to feel it.
Biggest priority is that they all stay safe. Of course, a competitive atmosphere in the Cal Ripken League, but at the end of the day, we want all these guys to head home healthy, and it gives them a real opportunity to showcase their talent to potential MLB scouts. That's the biggest thing you have the opportunity for in summer baseball. Quickly 1-1 to Putz. He's reached in each of his last 3 times to the plate. And another batter hit. 2 straight. And runners at first and second with no outs.
And a dangerous bat up for your Senators. Carter Groen.
And Landon, this game has just been ridiculous. You thought it was one that Southern Maryland would run away with. They were up 10-1. Thunderbolts come storming back. Now it's 11-10, and the Senators have put the first 2 batters on base. And potential to do some damage for Carter Groen. He was hit last time he was up. Walked in the 6th inning, so has reached in his 2 plate appearances. Came into the game for Logan Tribble, who had a 1-for-2 day. Carter Groen up in a big spot. Pitch will get past the catcher. Runners advance. And even just a single has a chance to score 2 for Carter Groen. Man, we cannot make this stuff up. TV drama from Regency Furniture Stadium.
That's exactly what I would call it, Cody.
2nd and 3rd for the Senators. The 1-0 in the dirt, blocked by the catcher Thomas. Hughes was getting ready to take off for home. Has to scamper back to 3rd.
The Thunderbolt coach peeking down at the bullpen.
Seeing if that new arm is ready. Heckman has struggled with the last couple batters. A line drive out to center field. Veal make the catch. 1 run will
tying
score
run is in,
and puts
and the winning
moves
run
to
on
third.
base.
Tied at 11, and just 90 feet away stands Rohan Putz.
With C.J. Willis.
Now batting, number 13, C.J. Willis.
Rowan Putz at 3rd base. C.J. Willis up to the plate. Rowan Putz leads off a 3rd. C.J. Willis with a chance to end things. He's hit by a pitch. The 3rd batter hit in the inning.
And Ian Kennedy with the chance.
1 out in the bottom of 9. Tied at 11. And they intentionally walk Kennedy.
'em.
Perhaps one of the most dangerous hitters for the Senators. They decide to walk.
Kai Queen with the chance to walk it off.
A deep fly out does it. Corners in for the Thunderbolts. All they need is one. Kai Queen is yet to record a hit in 5 at-bats today. Has a chance to erase all of that in a big moment in the 9th inning. The 1-1 is below the zone for ball 2.
And even a walk secures the Senators the win.
Fouled straight back, Queen right on it.
As both dugouts are starting to get into it.
Skied out to right field. Walters brings it in. Run coming home, and that'll score. The Senators will win the game. Rowan Putz comes home from third. Kai Queen with a sacrifice fly to win it in Waldorf. The Senators do it. They were up 10-1 at one point. A game you thought they'd win easily. The Thunderbolts came back, went up 11-10 in the top half of the 9th, but the Senators able to win it in the bottom half of the 9th. All the dramatics needed, but they're winners from Regency Furniture Stadium. 12-11, the final. Senators walk it off. They'll take a break for 2 days before they're back in Waldorf on Wednesday against Crop Dusters Baseball. With that, we say so long from Regency Furniture Stadium. Cody Wagner alongside Landon Zernhelt. Your Senators, the winners, by a final of 12-11.